So I got this friend of mine who has a daughter in her early 20s. She's dating this guy, and he's like absolutely no good for her. He's, attractive, of course. He got a nice body and all this kind of stuff, but he can't keep a job for shit. And he contributes nothing financially to the household. She pretty much takes care of him. He kind of does whatever he wants to do, so-called finding his way or whatever. He has no other support system but her. This is a dangerous situation to be in for a woman. Because when a man puts you in a predicament where all he has is you, that's a lot of responsibility. And it ends up feeling overwhelming. I'm going to break this down to you, okay? We got a lot of these young girls out here, 18, 19, on up into the early 20s, because some women don't really figure it out that, I ain't got to do all this until like their 30s. That's why people say you really live when you get in your 30s and your 40s. Because at that point, you make up your mind. You're not about to have all this extra stuff going on in your life. Anyway, so these young girls, they get out here and they date these guys, and they not worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? All they good for is sperm, and barely that, because the genetics might not be. Anyway, so we get these guys, right? These young guys, and they're handsome, and they say all these wonderful, sweet things that we've never heard before, and they're complimenting you and just really telling you how much they love you and need you, and how much they've changed since you've been in their lives. This is somebody at 19 now. Now, I understand that you can experience a certain amount of life by that time. But my point is this. When you have these daughters, and if they don't have any examples of the type of person they're going to date, in other words, they want to date men, people that identify as men, right? If the men in their life is not being positive, it's not telling them good things, it's not telling them how beautiful they are and how wonderful they are, and is providing some type of positive reinforcement. If they're not doing these things, and then this other brother comes along, he may not be good for anything else, but he's good for that. And let me tell you, when you feel good, those good feelings go a long way. And she will neglect anything and everybody, all good advice and wisdom, just so she can experience that good feeling that he's giving her. And this is why these girls stick around with these dudes that ain't no good. Because when they are with this guy, they feel needed. They feel as though they're contributing to, something that's value to them. And this feeling can literally cloud your judgment, because what happens is you forget about yourself. And you know how we end up doing that? Because society says that we have to neglect ourselves in order to show that we love someone. We have to deny ourselves to show love to someone else. And so we have a lot of women out here that will totally deny who they are and what they're trying to do with their lives for the sake of someone else's success, or for the sake of someone else's living and being. And my thing is, you should never give up yourself so someone can have their life. Then what are you left with? That's almost like saying you don't matter. And you do matter. You come first. That's what these girls need to understand. You come first. He comes second. He's starting to be a man. He should not be depending on you to justify his being. He should not be depending on you, hoping that you will be the number one support system that he will have for the rest of his life. That doesn't even make any sense. That's his mother's job. That's his mother's job. So my thing is, women, the mothers out here who have these young daughters, okay, when you have these young daughters, pay attention to how you talk to them, and pay attention to the relationships they have with other people, with the other gender, because this greatly affects how they act in relationships and how they act towards their partner. It has a lot to do with that. And I'm telling you, these young girls out here, they date these guys and they ain't worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? They can't hold a job. You can't depend on them when you really need them. They're really not there, but they are there for like sex. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you are it. That's too much responsibility for one person, and it's too much responsibility for somebody that young. So mothers, when you go to tell them, when you preach to them and don't do this and they don't hear you. They don't hear you. Because while you nagging, he's on the other side saying sweet, wonderful and beautiful and lovely things. And that supersedes what you say. So what you got to do is you got to talk to your daughter. And don't necessarily tell her what to do, but give her enough information and have enough conversation where she starts to critically think about this thing, where she starts to put the pieces together and she figures it out on her own, because she's more likely to learn the lesson that way, because that's more application. If she just hears it, it just goes in one ear and out the other. You have to give her a way to apply what you are teaching, so she can apply some critical thinking to this thing and realize, you know what? You right. This dude ain't really doing nothing for me. If anything, he's made my life worse. He ain't made my life better. We get these men and we feel like we're supposed to be their mother. We feel like we're supposed to nurture that is not your job. Especially at 19, when you just getting out of the house and you haven't even established your own sense of independence. Independence. So I just want to tell you, mothers, be careful out there when you talk to your girls. Okay, if you fussing and you mad and you talk out of anger, she doesn't hear you. All she sees is that you're telling her that she doesn't know what she's doing, and she's going to do everything she can to prove you wrong. So what I'm saying is, it needs to be more conversation and less lecture. I know that she probably pissing you off. I know that you're worried. I know that you're concerned. But this is parenthood. This is parenthood, and it is what it is. All I'm saying is, if your daughter, she want to jack up her life, long as she ain't messing with mine, that's all I'm saying. I don't want to have nothing to do with that.